So let's call the meeting to order. Today is March 13th, 2025, and we're at the Tom Baker Meeting Room for the appointed meeting of the Bismarck Parking Authority. I see that we have a quorum present, and the first item of business would be to approve the minutes of the February 13th meeting. What are your wishes?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
No changes, corrections, comments? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye, that motion carries. We'll move on to the regular agenda, which starts with the review of the financial statements. And management usually walks us through, points out any extraordinary items, things that we should be aware of. Jeremy?
Yep, Mr. Chairman, Authority Board members. So we've got 2 months in now through February for your cash flow reports. Income side is looking on track. On the expense side of things, of course, the beginning of the year is a little heavier on expenses with the real estate taxes on the commercial end of the property for the parkade ramp, elevator maintenance contract. So those are some of the big ticket items that just get paid for up front at the beginning of the year. Under repairs and maintenance, we did have a window, one of the large pane windows in the Galleria ramp, that we did have to have replaced that had lost its seal and gas, and so it was on one of the stairwells, so it was cloudy, so we needed to replace that. That actually came in at $3,000. So, and then there was a small expense under capital improvements, $298. That was actually for the RFP ad that we had to put out through the Bismarck Tribune. So, our reserve account, $2,700,422.50, combined with checking operating. Its current balance is $363,595 for a total balance of $3,064,017.50. Yep.
Questions of management on the financials? Questions or comments, anybody? So it costs $3,000 to replace a window?
The large ones.
Wow. Okay. Anyone have any questions? If not, is there a motion to approve the financials?
I'll motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
And on this one, we'd call the roll, please, Sue.
John?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
Jake?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes, that motion carries. Item 3 on the regular agenda would be to review the parkade repairs RFP bids. Jeremy?
Yep, Mr. Chairman, Authority Board members, we did have the RFP bid opening last week on Wednesday. There were 2 bids received, packets received on time that should have been included in your packet on those bid amounts. Restoration Systems Incorporated and Vector Construction Incorporated. Base bid for Restoration Systems, $248,310. Vector Construction, $367,439.05. Engineer's estimate was $220,000. An item to note, there was a third bid that came in, but it came in late, and so it was rejected, and that was with Western Specialty out of Minneapolis.
I don't know if it's relevant, but what was the amount of that one, Jeremy?
That came in at $212,000.
So we had at the bid opening, or before the bid opening, we had a discussion with the city attorney's office and with the city administrator about whether we could postpone the bid opening until their bid arrived. It was somewhat due to weather in the Twin Cities. But once they're published, we have rules. So we have to follow the rules. So you have before you the two items, or the 2 bids, I should say, $248,310 and Vector at $367,439, which seems like a pretty large difference. But that's why we go out for proposals on these things. And maybe, Jeremy, if you would, for anybody who might be awake at home, kind of recap what would be entailed in these repairs.
Mr. Chairman, Authority Board members, so this is for the project of repairing the concrete at the entrance ramp of the parkade. And some column repairs on green level in the parkade, and then traffic coating for half of the green level on the be the south end. Yeah, so that'd be all inclusive for those items.
And just as a point of interest, what does traffic coding entail for one level, and what does it cost for one level?
Yeah, so it's roughly about 114,000, I think, is engineer's estimate for a full level. In this case, it would just, for this project, it's just a half level. But it would be, essentially prevent water intrusion into the concrete surface, extending the life of the concrete and the tendons, I guess, the tension tendons for the ramp.
Okay, and that process lasts how long?
Well,
once it's applied?
typically, it's rated for 5 years for the traffic coating, but, you know, it can last longer, just depends on how much wear and tear as far as vehicle traffic on it. So, for context, like on the yellow level, the repairs that we did in 2020, that was also traffic coated, seems to be standing up okay, you know, 5 years later. There isn't large wear marks in there, so I think we have more life span out of that.
If I recall, this is something that the engineers and consultants have recommended that we do for some time, right?
It's been on the engineer's report for
A few years.
for a while. Yep.
And as I recall, also the cost to do the entire parkade was 700,000?
Yeah,
600?
roughly about 750,000, and that'd be for every level.
Okay. Any questions other than the ones I've raised?
Jeremy, due to the size of this project, I would assume that there was bid bonds secured for both of these?
Yep, there was bid bonds, and they do have North Dakota contractors licenses. The Restoration Systems Incorporated, they're out of Minnesota. I asked our engineer consultant, Walker Consultants, if they've ever worked with them before and what their quality work is. And they said that they do have clients that have used Restoration Systems before, and they do quality work, was the comment.
The main reason I asked is a lot of times when you have bids, when the bond company goes back and wants to see the other bids and they see that big gap in there, sometimes they can get a little antsy, and then you sometimes may get a little kickback, so. Because there is a big spread,
Sure. Yeah.
so.
Other questions? Jake?
Yeah, kind of a technical thing on the submittals of the bids. I'd see that one acknowledged an addenda and the other did not. I don't know if that creates any issues.
Yep, Mr. Chairman, Authority Board Member Jake, yes, that's a good to point that out, because I did see that as well, and I had emailed the contact person that had submitted the bid inquiring if they had seen that addenda, and they acknowledged that they had received it. It wasn't marked on there, but they said they do still want their bid considered.
Good question, good point. Other
Yep.
questions? John, anything? Mayor? We've kicked this can down the road for a while, right? So I guess, our action today would be to reject both, accept one. I think both are open for acceptance for 30 days, or is it 90 days? I don't remember. Typically, it's 30, I think.
Well, I think it's 60 days is what we
60?
had in the
Okay.
RFP ad.
And this work would take, if we approve one of the two bids, this work would take place starting this spring?
It's starting actually summertime frame with completion of late fall of 2025.
What are your wishes?
I guess I'd make a motion to approve the bid for Restoration Systems, Inc. for $248,310.
Is there a second?
Second?
Seconded by Jake. Any further discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none. Call the roll, please, Sue.
John?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
Jake?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes, that motion carries. We'll move on to other business. It's a pretty short agenda again today, which is okay, because it's a nice day out there. Other business?
Oh, Mr. Chairman.
Jeremy?
Sorry, I did have some pay requests.
Okay.
So this is for the engineer consultants work with Walker Consultants and CW Structural for 88% completion of the the dock engineer documents.
Okay.
Walker's bill, $11,505.74, and CW Structural, $9,600.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the two consultants' bills? Do you want to see them, or
Motion to approve.
is there a second? Second. John? Okay. Any further discussion on that motion? If not, call the roll, please, Sue.
John?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
Jake?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes, that motion carries. Other business, Madam Downtowner, or former Madam, or whatever? Can't remember now. You're on so many committees now, it's hard to tell.
Oh, I know, I gotta wear different hats and shirts all day long. Chair Authority members, just one quick thing, our street closure for street fair was approved at the Tuesday City Commission meeting. It will be September 12th and 13th. We close the streets September 11th at 5 PM. So, I know it's a busy time for you guys, so just FYI. We'll be doing that. I don't know how construction would maybe affect that, if it would at all, in the parkade. So just an FYI, and then I think we talked about 3rd Street last time. It's not right near 3rd and Main, but there will be a potential construction project south. I think it's Main South. But since it's right in, right out on your 3rd Street ramp, just maybe expect some delays or things like that. We did work with the traffic engineer some months ago, actually, to add some on-street parking on that west side of the 3rd Street ramp. There's about 4 spaces that we could fit in there. We had an entire block of right turn lane, and so they were kind enough to go and put new signs up so we could get 4 on-street spaces on the west side of the ramp, which has been great. So anyway, just a couple things on that ramp, or that's happening in and near that ramp, and then with our street fair dates, if anyone has any questions. Todd got me in trouble last time talking about the Dove in Mandan, so no Mandan questions, Todd. Not
Any
taking any.
questions of Kate on that? Kate, do you want to stay up there? I think you're on the loop for the potential improvements to 5th Street and Front, south by
Yes.
the event center. That will be on the agenda this afternoon of the Renaissance Zone Authority, sitting as the Downtown Design Review Committee. So if anybody's interested, engineering has put out a kind of a heads up. They're looking at resurfacing 5th Street from the tracks, or from Main down to Bowen,
Yes.
and Front from 3rd to 5th, and maybe further east, maybe
And
all the way to.
I think part of it is adding some more street trees and furniture and things like that, making it a little bit more
And bump outs.
urban looking
And
section.
redoing something with the parking, I'm not sure what, so. That, like I said, will be up for review by the Downtown Design Review Committee this afternoon. I'm gonna tune in for that. I'm not 100% sure there wasn't a lot of detail in the notice that was sent out. And then, last but not least, the Mayor's Parking Authority meets tomorrow at 11, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Is that correct, Mayor? Okay. As we continue
We'll keep it
to
short.
try and breathe some light into the need for more off-street parking in downtown Bismarck, we're continuing that process. So
Eh.
we don't have anything.
And Jim, I don't know if you, I mean, with your real estate background, but we're seeing a lot of showings and stuff coming into the downtown. I know you saw some in your space. Housing's been good, professional services has been good, office space, for the most part, has been good for us. It's a retail that's really been a tough one. But we're starting to see some folks look at a space near us, the 2 groups actually this week. So it seems like springtime is the time when people are getting a little itchy to get out and maybe look at some spaces. But it's picked up, I think. And then John was here last month from CRA Group, kind of said the same thing. Things are picking up a little bit, which is good.
I concur. The activity has increased
Yeah.
and the interest level, so that's all good.
Thank you.
So, any questions of Kate? Anybody? Thanks, Kate. Any other business for the good of the order? Anybody? Speak now or forever wait until the next meeting, I guess. If not, if there's no further business, we will stand adjourned unless there's an objection. We are adjourned until April 10th. Thanks, everybody.